Swimming can burn over 1,000 calories in just 1 hour.
But is it the best exercise to lose weight?
If you've been trying to lose weight and you've been struggling, you're not alone. Losing weight can be extremely challenging, and if you're putting in the work and you feel better, but the scale just isn't showing it, that's okay.
So what I want to show you is a sustainable way that you can lose weight through swimming and give you a step-by-step guide and share with you some things that no one's talking about.
First of all, let's get something straight. Fat and muscle are not the same. So if you've been working out regularly and you look better, you feel better, but the scale isn't showing it, that's because muscle is way more dense than fat.
This is 1 pound of fat and this is 1 pound of muscle. And as you can see, they are both very different sizes. And it's important to remind yourself of this very important thing, because when you're trying to lose weight, the numbers on the scale is not the most important thing you should pay attention to.
There are a number of other things that you should focus on first.
The reason you're struggling to lose weight is because you're not doing it from a holistic perspective. Let me give you an example. This is a stool. Now a stool typically has 3 legs. If you don't have all 3 of these legs for support, the stool falls over. The first one is nutrition. If you're not monitoring the food that you put into your body, if you're not doing it consistently over time, then it's gonna be a recipe, pun intended, for gaining weight. The second area is training and technique, T&T. If you don't have the proper swimming program, if you're not following a regimen, if you're not doing the right type of training on a regular basis, it's not gonna work. And then the last one is C for consistency. Because if you're not doing either of these 2 things in a consistent way and you're not accountable to your goals, it's not gonna work. If you just have one of these legs missing, the stool is gonna fall over. And so what we wanna do is we wanna build a holistic perspective for you, so that way you have the foundation to be successful in your weight loss goals. Now I want to break down exactly what you need to do for each leg of the stool, so that way you have a strong foundation, starting with nutrition. Now it really comes down to this very basic formula: calories in versus calories out. Let's say your basal metabolic rate, meaning how many calories you burn in a given day just to exist and maintain your body weight, is 2,500 calories. Well, that means you need to be burning over 2,500 calories if you want to lose weight. If this number is greater than 2,500, well, then you know what's going to happen. You're slowly going to gain weight over time. So what we need to do is we actually need to create a caloric deficit if we don't change our activity level. So let's say we keep our activity level at 2,500, but now we actually need to decrease the amount of calories that we eat on a daily basis to make sure we are under that. And let's say we're going to decrease by 300 calories per day. So now we're at 2,200 calories. This will create a negative 300 calorie per day deficit. And when you factor this in over a period of weeks or months, you're gonna see the weight come off very quickly. So if you're wondering how many calories you have to burn to take out 1 pound of fat, and that is 3,500 calories. So if you have a 500 calorie deficit per day, in just 1 week, you will burn 1 pound of fat. Now you can safely lose about 0.5% to 1% of your body weight per week. So if you weigh 100 kilograms, that's anywhere from 0.5 kilogram to 1 kilogram per week of body fat that you can drop. If you weigh 175 pounds, that's about 1 pound per week. You do that over 12 weeks, that's 12 pounds, you're gonna see the results. The next leg of the stool is technique and training. Now remember, the water is 800 times more dense than air. Just like muscle is more dense than fat, it's really important that we focus on the things that matter to drive results. So when it comes to technique, a few different things that you really need to keep in mind. Number 1 is swimming with a proper head position. You wanna make sure your eyes are looking down, and that'll increase your body position so that way your legs aren't dragging. It'll make you more efficient and you can swim faster for a longer period of time without the need for stopping. And that ties into the catch and the pull. Really making sure that you enter the water with your fingertips first, you get a nice big extension, and you're pulling the water not just with your hands, but with your entire arm, including your forearm, all the way through your elbow and your upper arm and into your armpit. You create this rotational momentum with your hips, and that allows you to get a great breath in. One of the biggest challenges that swimmers face at any level is breathing. You gotta make sure you're keeping one eye and one ear under the surface of the water, so that way it doesn't disrupt the overall flow that you have in your swimming technique. Now, when it comes to training, you've gotta make sure you're doing interval training. It's one thing to swim continuously for a really long period of time. In fact, you're a lot more efficient with your time if you swim a little bit less broken up by structured intervals. It's how we developed the MySwimPro app, and it's how we've helped tens of thousands of people take their swimming to the next level. All the training that you should do from now on is in interval training fashion. For example, instead of swimming 500 meters continuously, you break it up 10 times 50 meters with a 30-second rest interval between them. Now, this is a very basic example, but if you're looking to take your swimming to the next level and you want us to help you implement technique, training, nutrition, and a consistent approach to everything, then make sure you book a call at the link down below so that you can work with my team so we can help you deliver results in a way that's going to be sustainable and swim for the rest of your life. The last thing I'll put here is variety. How do you burn more calories while you're swimming to make your time in the water that much more efficiently? I'll share that with you at the end of the video. Now, the last leg of this tool, which is so important and makes it impossible to be successful in the other two categories, if this category is not sufficient, consistency is so important because it is literally the foundation of being successful in any goal. Here's an example. I have all the days of the week. We got 7 days in the week, and you have to be consistent on every day that ends in Y. Yes, I'm trying to be funny, but the reality is if you just mess up for an entire week, you're gonna set yourself back 2 weeks. Here's an example of how this can work for you and it can work against you. Let's say you go swimming 3 times a week. That is fantastic. You're gonna swim on Monday, on Wednesday, and Friday. Excellent. It's okay if you don't swim on the other 4 days of the week, but you wanna be active. You wanna make sure you're getting your step count in. If you can only swim 2 times per week, that's fine. If you can swim 5 times per week, that's fine too. But remember the other leg of this tool. It's not just the swimming, the technique, and the training, it's the nutrition. So let's say we're negative 500, excellent. Negative 500, excellent. Tuesday, we go out, we were neutral. Wednesday, we messed up from the day before, we felt bad. Thursday, we binge ate, we ate 500. Extra, surplus. Friday, we held it together because we know Saturday we're gonna have a good time. So we were negative 500 on Friday, and then Saturday, we overdid it, plus 500. As you can see, this individual right here is working their hardest to make sure that they are successful, but they're working against themselves because they're not staying consistent. And if this sounds familiar, definitely book in a call at the link below and you'll work with my team to help you figure out the exact strategies so that way you can be consistent. Now on the flip side, let's say we have more consistency. We're negative 500, negative 500, negative 500. Wednesday, we had a cheat meal, that's okay. We were 0 on that day. Negative, negative, negative. So for the entire week, we were able to burn 3,000 calories, almost a full pound. And this right here is the sustainable formula so that way you can be successful in your weight loss journey.
Now, when it comes to how often you should be swimming, there's no secret formula other than whatever you can do to be consistent. Whether it's 2 times a week, 3 times a week, or every single day, the successful plan is the one that you can do every single week without major interruptions. Now, I would tell you that you need to swim at least twice per week to see the benefits of swimming and also to build your feel of the water. You can certainly swim only once per week, but that's really going to be more of a recovery, not really a swim training protocol that will actually enable you to build a routine, to build a consistent plan so that you can burn the most calories possible. So in summary, if you're trying to find out exactly how many days per week you should swim, the answer lies in how many times you can swim consistently over multiple weeks in a row. And that could only be 15 to 25 minutes, 2 or 3 times per week, and that's a great place to start.
So how do you burn more calories? Well, I've got 7 ways for you to burn more while you swim, and you can get started with this right away. The first is interval training. I already explained it, but doing 10 times 50 with a break between each 50-meter swim is more efficient than doing 500 meters continuously. Next up, we gotta talk about distance. Whether it's swimming 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, having variety in distance allows you to change the energy systems and energy pathways that you use when you swim. If you only do shorter, higher intensity bursts of swimming, you're only gonna activate one type of energy system. When you do longer aerobic swims, whether it's 200, 500 meters, or even doing 10 times 200 meters of swimming, that's a 2,000 meter set, which is a lot different than doing lots of repeats of shorter distances. Next up, we gotta talk about intensity. And these two are very related. So if you're trying to swim longer, you're gonna end up doing it at a lower intensity. If you're swimming shorter distances, you have to make sure you have an increase in intensity or else it's gonna be a less efficient use of your time. Next up, you wanna have variety in the strokes that you swim. Now you might be thinking, well, I only like swimming the front crawl, freestyle, I can only swim backstroke, I only swim breaststroke. That's fine, but by sprinkling in a a little bit of variety. Whether it's doing all the strokes, butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, or freestyle, or just doing some breaststroke or backstroke, whatever it may be, you're actually going to improve your feel of the water and you're gonna burn more calories. Yes, butterfly burns the most calories out of any stroke, but you can't do butterfly the entire workout. So having this variety not only improves your feel of the water, but it also burns more calories. And my favorite, it makes the workout that much more interesting because you're not stuck doing the same thing over and over. Next up, we gotta talk about equipment. Equipment can make the workout that much more interesting and burn that much more calories, whether it's fins, paddles, snorkel, kickboard, pull buoy, because when you add equipment, you are now adding resistance. And resistance, just like in the weight room, gets you more muscle activation. When you do all of these things, actually, what you're doing is you are engaging more muscles, whether it's energy pathways or the actual muscle while you're swimming and trying to pull more water. So if you're using fins, you're gonna feel a spike in your heart rate, you're going to be working harder, and you're gonna burn more calories when you can incorporate different pieces of equipment as well as different forms of resistance. And that brings me to my final point, and this is complex sets. So once you know how to do all of these different things, you can not just swim freestyle, you can swim breaststroke, backstroke, IM, with paddles, with fins, descending, ascending. Now, a lot of that might be some technical jargon if you're not as familiar with swimming, but that's why we work directly with athletes and individuals of all levels. So whether you're trying to lose weight or you're competing for something a little bit longer and more advanced, by working with our team, we can help you take your swimming to the next level and reach your fitness goals in a much more efficient way. So if you're serious about elevating your swimming, if you're serious about swimming more efficiently, about losing weight, about reaching a specific goal, then click on the link below so you can apply to work with our team and take your fitness to the next level. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, I know you're gonna love this one right over here, how to swim perfect freestyle. I'll see you over there, and happy swimming.